Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's JJC Reptiles, and today in this video, I'm going to be going over the Leopard Gecko Care Guide for PetSmart. Alright, so this is the Leopard Gecko Care Guide. They have functional eyelids that make them distinct from other geckos. Yes. Experience level, beginner. I wouldn't say they're like the easiest, but I can't agree with that. Size. Leopard geckos grow up to 10 inches, which is 25 centimeters, yes, depending on gender, age, and morph. Lifespan. On average, they live for 15 to 20 years. Agreed. Origin. Leopard geckos originated from the Middle East and require a warm, dry environment with a moist hiding spot where they can shed their skin. Agreed. All right, a leopard gecko terrarium. Terrarium, screen lid, daytime, nighttime bulbs. I don't agree with UVB lights. It has been shown that a lot of reptiles can adjust to the heat and don't even know that they're overheating, just like with heat rocks. Sometimes leopard geckos can be exposed to the lamp and not even know that they're getting exposed and overheat. And it can also affect some leopard geckos' eyes, like with albinos. So I don't really agree with it too much. That goes with the heat lamps and bulbs. That's why with some cases, like, you can use heat bulbs. It's not the worst, but I would only say that it really only affects leopard geckos if they're albino. Thermometer, reptile carpet. Okay, so reptile carpet, I disagree with. Leopard geckos have been known to lose fingers and fingernails off of these. And I had a case where my leopard gecko, this was a while ago, when I had as a pet and know much about leopard geckos, I had a reptile carpet. And the leopard gecko went to go grab a cricket and its tongue got stuck in the carpet. And I moved it, and my leopard gecko ended up biting me on accident, and I accidentally flung it across the cage, but it did get stuck in the carpet, and it took like 2 minutes for it to be unstuck. So I disagree with reptile carpet. Food, dish, water dish, big enough for the pet to soak in. So a water dish for the pet to soak in. I mean, you can do that, yeah. Plants, you don't need plants or decoration, but if you want, you can go ahead and do that. Humidity hut, yes, 100%. Day temperature for the cool side, 75 to 90 degrees. I can agree with that. Daytime for the warm side, 85 to 95 degrees. I can agree with that. Nighttime, so I don't really agree with the 65 degrees. Usually what I do with my temperatures is at nighttime, I do 75 to 80 degrees. And then daytime, 85 to 90 degrees. It'll help them digest. So I'll just put an X there. Humidity, 10 to 30%. They need more humidity than that. I can't tell the exact amount, but they need more than that, especially in their humidity hut. How do I set up a leopard gecko terrarium? 1 to 2 leopard geckos can be housed together in a 20-gallon terrarium if territorial behavior is observed. Increase the size of the habitat. No, never, ever, 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 ever house more than 1 gecko together. It always should be a single gecko in there, unless if you're breeding, but never, ever. There was this case where this woman left their leopard gecko in another leopard gecko's tank to breed, and the male ended up ripping the female's leg completely off the next day. So never do that. Please don't do that. You can house them when they're younger, like once they're born to 4 months old, but separate them after that. Use reptile carpet or tile. Remove droppings at least once a week through a thoroughly clean carpet tile. I don't agree with the carpet, but you should clean like the newspaper or paper towels or whatever you use for the substrate every week, 100%. So I can agree with the cleaning, but the carpet, I'm marking that completely off. Leopard gecko's calcium absorption can benefit from supplementary 5.0 UVB lights. That is agreed. So UVB lights give your leopard gecko vitamin D3. They give them D3. And that helps digest and absorb calcium. But if you are using UVB lights, get calcium without D3. If you aren't using UVB lights, you have to have calcium with D3. That's what I do with my leopard gecko. Since I don't use UVB lights, I use calcium with D3. Now, it has been proven that the UVB lights, leopard geckos absorb it way better than what they do with the vitamin intake, which is true with nearly every single animal with UVB. But like I said, I dislike UVB lights. But, if you use them, it's whatever. It's not going to kill your gecko. Leopard geckos require a temperature. For the warm side, use an under tank heater, daytime heat lamp. So if you are using a heat lamp, make sure to have it on during the day so it can heat up the bottom and stuff. And then have a heat lamp a heat mat underneath so it can help them digest, because leopard geckos, just like in the wild, they are up during dusk and dawn. So during the day, the sun will heat up the rocks, and while they come out during dusk or dawn, the heat is already on the rock. So when they lay on the rock, they're absorbing the heat off of the rock. So I can't agree with that. Definitely turn off the light when it's nighttime, and always have a heating pad or heat tape. Equip the habitat with 2 thermometers, one on each side, to measure the temperature, and a hygrometer, measure the temperature, measure the humidity, measure your geckos every day. I mean, you can have 2 thermostats in there, or a humidity gauge, but I don't do that. I just monitor the leopard gecko's temperature, their tank's temperature. That's all I do. I don't even monitor the humidity huts. I just spray it down, shake it up, and just do it every time when I clean them. Unless if they're gonna lay eggs, and I'll do it every 2 to 3 days. Give your gecko a rock, branches, and plants and leaves on the cool side for hiding. Add moistened moss to the hiding spot on the warm side. Aiding healthy shedding. I use coconut fiber for the substrate in the humidity hut. You don't have to use branches or plants or whatever, but I could say sure for that one. For more information, consult PetSmart and Reptiles. Okay, blah, blah, blah. What should I feed my leopard gecko? Crickets, dubia, roaches, hornworms, mealworms, and their superworms, correct. Dust food with calcium powder 2 to 3 times a week. Dust with reptile multivitamins 1 time a week. Juveniles, and 2 times a month for adults. Okay, you should do this every single time when you're feeding them. Always supplement your geckos every time when you feed them. I could say sure for that. But yeah, always supplement your leopard geckos all the time. Don't over supplement them. What I do is 1 for calcium with D3 portion, and then 3 portions of Vionate, which would be the vitamins. When should I contact a veterinarian? Runny droppings for more than 2 days, correct. Decreased frequency in droppings, correct. Hiding more than usual. Leopard geckos sometimes do that when they're stressed or, ovulating or gravid. They'll do that. I wouldn't say that's much of a concern. Eating or drinking less, weight loss. So leopard geckos will stop eating or drinking when they're, mainly eating when they're in brumation, which is like hibernation, or whenever they are gravid or ovulating. So I wouldn't say that's much of a concern, but weight loss, 100%. If your gecko is losing weight, definitely contact your veterinarian. Swollen joints, so 100%, if you notice that any swollen joints or it's having a problem with moving or whatever like that, definitely. Discharge from eyes, nose, or mouth, yep, that's a problem. Shedding problems, discolored skin, yep. increased basking time. I don't use UVB lights, so I wouldn't know, but I don't really understand why that'd be much of a problem. But I mean, I'll just leave that unchecked because I'm not 100% sure for that. Thinning tail, yes, 100%. All right, so the shopping checklist is on the back. 20-gallon terrarium or larger. Smaller is better, but if you want to use a 20-gallon, go ahead. Screen lid if you're using terrarium. UVB lights. Sure. Daytime and nighttime. You don't need a nighttime thing, so nah. Let's mark that off. Under tank heater, check off for 100%. Habitat thermometer, yep, you can. Reptile bedding or carpet, no carpet, just substrate like newspaper or paper towels. Or don't use sand at all either, sand or anything like that, because that could cause impaction with the leopard gecko, which is where the leopard gecko can't digest the sand and it'll end up dying. You can increase the temperatures like 110 degrees to help it digest, but I wouldn't suggest it, honestly. It's really bad and it will kill your leopard gecko. And especially with calcium sand, it has calcium in it and it encourages the leopard gecko to lick at it, and just don't ever use sand or anything like that. Artificial rocks or wood or hide, I mean, sure for that, sure. But the humidity hut, 100%, definitely humidity hut. I use coconut fiber, but I don't know how good this moss right here is, so I'll just put sure. I'm not 100% sure. I never looked into it, but you definitely need something for your humidity. Branches for climbing and hiding. Climbing. Leopard geckos don't like to climb. They don't. I mean, they will climb on top of like. Just don't put your gecko somewhere high. You know, like it's okay for it to climb on its humidity hut, or it's like if you have rocks or whatever in it. I'd probably say no, because it's probably unsafe for a leopard gecko to climb really high, because it could fall and hurt itself. I'll just say no for that. But the hiding part, obviously. Water bowl and food bowl, 100%. Crickets, dubia roaches, hornworms, mealworms, and superworms, yep. Calcium powder and multivitamin powder, yep. I can put Vionate under this, though. Vionate. D3. That's a weird D. All right. So this is the leopard gecko care guide. So if you guys want me to do a Petco care guide, let me know. This is for the PetSmart version. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.